And I am using a program called Adobe InDesign, which is a layout program. It's not a drawing program, but they have this pencil tool. And it doesn't behave very much like a real pencil. Is that line? Yeah, it's thick enough. You can see that, right? But it's good enough for these super rough sketches that I do at this stage. I can always undo something if it's really bad. Okay. And then the cool thing about this is I can move the text around, and then each of these lines is its own object. I can move them around. I can scale them. I can group them together, and now I basically have a character that I can move and scale. Scaling was a big problem when I was drawing on paper. If I just want to make something a little bit bigger, I have to redraw it. But here, I can just move it and scale it. And if I decide, well, actually, maybe I don't want to see a close-up of the face, because maybe it's important right here that we see both of the characters. So I'll just do a different version. Okay. But now, again, I can group these. Now I have each character grouped separately, which means I can move them around relative to each other. I can group them both together and scale them. I can reshape the text. So it just gives me a lot more flexibility to try a lot of things very quickly. And again, this guy is still dragged over here to the side. So if I decide, if I change my mind again and I want to go back, you know, he's right there. So then I end up with something like this. This is a page layout for the Odyssey. And then what I would do is I would print this out on watercolor paper. And for the Odyssey, I was drawing in pencil, so I printed it out very, very faint, and then I drew over it with a heavier pencil line, and then painted over that with watercolor. You can see that here. And then on separate layers, digitally, I can add my balloons and my borders, which means that they're nice and clean, and also because they sit on top of the art, if the text changes later, like if my editor wants to change something in the text, or if it gets translated into a different language and the size of the text has to change, they can just change that balloon without having to touch the art.